I fucked up. I'm so sorry.
If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits, scene by scene, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared. I know we've been trying to clean up the language, but two F-bomb intro quotes in a row.
Huh.
Couldn't resist. They're maybe some of the best lines in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, once you throw an F-bomb in there, you know.
Spice it up. It's like a
meatball.
Like a spicy meatball. That's right. That's where the Italian listeners went.
Yeah. At which point did you just leave, Italian listeners? Send us an email. Although you didn't hear this.
It's called representation. As a half Italian man.
As a half Italian.
Yeah. There's not enough meatballs on podcasts these days.
There isn't.
We need more meatball representation.
Definitely need more meatballs. All right. So this is part 2. We're back, and we are getting right into the rest of our breakdown of the too many. What's it called?
Now you see me.
Now you see me. Now you don't. Can you keep a secret from 2019? Mm-hmm. Right.
That's right.
Oh boy. So where did we leave off? We left off. The girls are having some rosé and talking about trust, and then
talking about how you should always lie to men.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. And then we cut to the office, right?
Well, it was a little New York scenery transition. I feel like they didn't do much of this in the first half. In the second half of this movie, they really dial up the transitions.
Yeah, a lot of New York transition shots. Yeah, a ton of them. A lot of B footage rocking there.
And I love, this is one of those good throwaway lines when Connor's just like, and it turns out wrestling, they're all acting.
Like one of those side comments you kind of walk halfway into, but it's still funny just because it's so
that's when Emma flags down Nick, and she's like, hey, we got to put an ad in an old people magazine, Bowling Monthly. And he's like, I don't know about that. That seems crazy. And she's like, my grandpa is obsessed with Panda Bites. And Nick Connor's like,
know. Yeah.
You're obsessed with your grandpa. We know. But then she kind of blackmails Nick and is into running the ad anyway. And you're like, oh, okay, questionable.
Yeah. Using secrets, right?
And that's when Sybil pops up and says, hey, by the way, Jack called for you, Emma, and the Leopold file. You need that.
Yeah. And she shows up and there's more just awkward humor moments.
There's a logo design that he's like, this is terrible. It looks like ovaries, right?
Yeah.
She's like, is it a product for my ovaries? And he's like, no.
All delivered in this awkwardness. I hate it.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's lifetimey. Alexandra Daddario is not a great actor. And neither is Tyler Hoechlin here. Maybe he's better in the Superman stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's just not good in this.
No, just kind of both of them are just kind of flat.
Bad delivery, no chemistry.
No. So yeah, then Jack, again, this is kind of awkward, not HR problem, HR nightmare. So Jack is then so I heard you and Connor broke up.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Yeah. From the trailer, he's like, I was going to ask you out too soon. They just broke up yesterday.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit.
I understand. Yeah. It's very frustrating.
So yeah, just more awkward moments. But then, he awkwardly asks her out to dinner.
And she's like, yeah, tonight works.
Yeah, which is definitely not okay. So all the boss people out there, don't do this. This is not how you find true love.
Well, what's true love? No one in the world knows what love is.
It's true. Really. No one knows. All right. So then we're back at the apartment, right?
And Lissy is doing something. We're begging Lissy to get a key to this elusive club.
Right. The password is Chad.
The password's Chad, which is the character of
Sunita Mani.
Sunita Mani in The Good Place. And basically it's been hiding in the cork bowl the whole time. It's very exciting. And Jack shows up early to the unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. Awkward to have another awkward moment. And then he comes inside and waits inside. We meet Toots McGillicuddy.
And introduces Lissy. And he's like, oh, so this is your world, huh? You've got a My Little Pony comforter and dog posters on the wall of Alexandra Daddario's dog, weirdly.
Yep.
Not your dog, but Alexandra Daddario's dog. Okay. And she's like, yeah, adopt, don't shop. And he's like, I got this important call, but you know what? Not more important than you. So
do not disturb.
Do not disturb, baby.
Yep.
Which is inconsistent with what happens in 5 minutes.
I was just I was just gonna call that out.
Yeah. And then weirdly, Lissy's like, okay, bye. I know your itinerary in case he's like a perv, which he is.
I mean,
so.
yeah. Abusing that power.
No one calls him on that, but
nope. So then we're right about halfway through the movie at this point, right? And now they're switch over to we get all outside New York, right? And they're walking around, and she's like trying to take him to like this club, kind of like a speakeasy type of clubby place, right? Where it's
right. The one with the key.
The one with the key. So she's got the key. She gets the door, knocks on the door, and this unsavory dude answers the door.
Unsavory is what we're going with. Okay.
Yeah. What was your word?
Gross guy, I think I called him.
Gross guy.
Gross guy answers, and she's like, can I talk to Chad? And he's like, it's like very lurch in nature. He closes the door on her. She knocks again. She's like, no, like really, like it's a club. We have to be in the club. And he's like, you want a drink? Lose deputy dipshit. You're like, all right, this guy's funny too. And then she apologizes. She's like, sorry, it's usually a cool club. I don't know what happened. But he's like, you want falafel? Like, oh, okay. Yeah. Good segue again. Like the way the script is written, they're just like, next scene? You want to do the next one?
Okay. How can we end this? Falafel? Yeah, sure. Done.
Next? All right, great. Let's go do the next thing.
So they're eating falafel by the water, right? In the bridge there. And then he kind of opens
the trailer.
Up. Yeah, he gets off in the trailer. He opens up a little bit about his friend / co-founder there, Pete, right? Who comes back. Not from the dead, but who passed away.
Right. He's dead as hell.
He's definitely dead as hell. And he starts to kind of reveal a little bit, but then he pulls back and like kind of bottles it up, right?
Like, guess I haven't been here much since Pete's passing. And he's like, they're about to kiss, and then he gets a phone call on his do not disturb phone.
Yeah.
So then he walks away, and you can overhear some of his conversation. What do we do? Plan B? Back to Chicago? And she's like, well, interesting.
Intrigue.
Everything okay? And he's like, it's complicated. And she's like, I'm really good at advice. And he's like, obviously you're not the right person to talk to about that. But then they kiss anyway, and she's like, why are you even interested in my boring life? And he's like, you're definitely not boring, babe. Take a bullet for you, babe. I'm gripped. I was gripped.
From this point forward, this movie turns into like a self-esteem problem for like all of the characters all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it gets like, and it's like this, she says this a couple times. It's just like, stop. And she's like, oh, how could someone like you like me?
Yeah, I'm such a bad person. He's like, I know, but I like you even still.
I'm so boring. I'm so boring. Like,
take a bullet for you, babe.
And then a kiss more.
Yep.
And then we cut to the apartment, and it is sexy time.
It's nice and upbeat music. It's from the trailer again. She's noticing his abs. And then she's like, this is another like one of those. I'm like, what is the age portrayal difference in this movie? Because she's like, I don't know any sex tricks. Like, I'm sure you've slept with like supermodels and like all kinds of people. And he's like, I don't have any tricks either. Well, except for this one awesome trick. And she's like, wow, great trick. And you're like, well, okay, I'm glad we skipped that whole. Like that's not that's a sincere. I'm glad we skipped that whole.
Oh yeah.
Because they have no chemistry.
Yeah, there's none. There's none here. And then they're done doing their thing and laying in bed.
Good trick. Yeah.
And she's like going. It's really weird. I was like, is she drunk right now? The way she's like delivering this. Yeah. And she's going on about how awesome he is. And
like
then
you're made in a lab.
Yeah, and then she gets into more self-esteem issues here, and she's just talking about how flawed she is, and da. And he finally opens up about having a webbed toe.
He's like, I have a secret. I have syndactyly.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God. And he's like, it's only sometimes contagious. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, why wouldn't you say anything? And he's like, oh, well, just kidding. And you're like, yeah, definitely. I'm with Alexandra Daddario on this one. Like this is not an appropriate time to joke about that.
No.
But it's just web feet. And it's not even really web feet. He's like, it's like a double toe thing. Stupid.
They just taped his two toes together.
And then she like really tries to knock him down. She's like, God, Jack Harper, what a hideous beast.
Yeah.
Like, he's a horrible monster, unattractive person. And you're like, oh, what? And then they have sex more. And you're like, I don't get this movie.
Yeah. It was just very strange. It was like, is she drunk right now? Like, what's going on? It's kind of strange. Yeah. But anyways, we could get some more city shots, transition shots, and we're back at the apartment. All stuff from the trailer, right? And then the friend Gemma there giving some bad advice while taking a selfie with a selfie stick.
Never tell a man your feelings. It's from the trailer. It's from the beginning of the movie. Gemma's very, very consistent.
Yeah.
And basically she's like, you should blackmail that guy and get your promotion.
Which is kind of hinting at the how she gets her job and promotion and everything else later.
Yeah. And she's wearing like another like lace lingerie outfit. She's like, gonna go meet my grandma. Bye.
Oh my God. And then we get more city transition shots, right?
Yep. Night New York.
Right, New York.
And she's getting into Jack's limo now.
It's kind of a dating montage starts right around now.
This is the date montage. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Days and nights pass by. They do some dating. They spill champagne like the trailer.
Fancy dinners. Yeah.
Do some cheers. There's like a little aside where she's like, "How did you and Pete start Panda?" And he's like, I gotta go. And then like walks away.
Yeah.
What? And then they read books together. They do some horoscope stuff.
They're doing
she's
making
like,
out.
because again, this movie is not subtle in any way. She's like, "Oh yeah, it looks like your horoscope is you'll learn to share yourself with others." And he's like, "What? I'm on my phone."
He's like, nah. So then that's it, right? And then we cut back to
later that night.
Yeah, later that night, the apartment, right? And I don't know what she said, but she tells him something. She gets really emotional and starts crying, right?
She's basically like, when I was a child, I told myself that I'd love myself, but then, like, you know, sometimes when I think about it, I don't know if I deserve it. And he's like, "What?
I gotta go."
Yeah, she's like, "I don't know why I told you that." And he's like, "Yeah, same."
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Check you later.
Yeah. So then back at home with Lissy, presumably the next day.
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm in love."
Yeah, that's this shot from the trailer, whatever, right? And then she hears some noises coming from Lissy's room.
Grunting. A lot of Omar grunting.
Grunting, right? So then she goes over there, picks up Toots McGillicuddy there.
Yep.
And she's like, Lissy, you home? And then she opens the door to find Lissy.
Like they're having sex.
Compromising situation here. So she runs her own room, closes the door. She's like, I didn't see that, whatever, right? Lissy comes out. Mm-hmm. And she's like, sorry. She's like, it's not what you think it is.
We weren't having sex.
We were dancing. We're in a lawyer dance troupe.
A bunch of lawyers formed a dance group, and I didn't tell you because I thought you'd laugh, and she's laughing. So you were right to not tell her. Listen.
Yeah. Don't. That's your secret. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, and she's like, "Well, back to me. I'm in love with that guy." And she's like, "Well, do you know anything about him?" And you're like, "Okay, great. We don't focus on any of the interesting stuff. Like, I want to know more about the lawyer dance troupe."
Yeah, that's way more interesting than everything else here.
And she's like, "No, I don't know anything about him. Like, I guess I could have asked questions." She's like, "I just assumed he would tell me because I told him all kinds of compromising things about myself. Everyone should just tell all their secrets right away, right?" And Lissy's like, "I don't. Yeah, I was trying to open up to you about my thing. All right, well, see you later.
See ya. Smell ya. Roommate.
You're a bad friend."
Yeah, great roommate. And so we bounce back to the office, right? And she's looking at photos of her and Jack, right?
In bed, yeah, like very compromising.
Yeah,
like this is what I thought was going to be the scene from the trailer when they're like, "Oh my God, how embarrassing. I've never been more humiliated in my life." Like, you're banging the boss was like somebody looked over her shoulder and sees the weird pictures of her in bed with the boss. Like,
no, the way it all plays out is so strange and so just, I don't know what's going on. So,
yeah.
So they're like, the boss, Sybil comes through and she's like, "Hey, Jack's being interviewed on TV. We're all going to watch, right?"
Yeah. Everyone come quick. 9/11's on.
Yeah. So they're all in there in the whatever main area watching this interview. And man, what a weird interview. She comes in hot with the your co-founder friend dead questions, right?
Yeah. So about your friend who passed away, like, have things changed since he's died? And he's like, yeah, it's pretty tough. But I'm finding new inspiration now. We're trying to get into women's health supplements. And you're like, wait, you just said earlier you weren't making a product for ovaries. Like, are you?
Are you then?
Like, yeah, I'm conflicted now. No. And she's like, who's your target market? And he's
like, what a follow-up question.
Yeah. Well, it's like C-SPAN, like it's like the boring business channel that like no one watches.
Yeah.
Like so no one has seen this except for her employees. And he's like, yeah, just the girl on the street, you know? And she's like, well, how do you tap into the girl on the street? And he's like, I tapped the girl on the street. Let me tell you about her.
And then he goes on like this very specific rant about her on TV.
Yeah, she's real. She loves chewing gum and she wears jeans with a flower in her hair. And people are like, wait a second, Emma has jeans and a flower in her hair.
She chews gum. Hold on a second.
She cries when she hears demons from Imagine Dragons. She has a My Little Pony bedspread. She doesn't feel like she deserves love. You're like, what? What a list of things.
Yeah.
And he's like, we can cut that, right?
And she's like, nah, we're live, you idiot.
It's the classic ITMT fallacy where we're like, oh, we can cut that. But listeners, in case you didn't know, when we release episodes, we're live.
We're live right now. Live right now.
As you listen, you can send us an email.
It's meets@gmail.com.
That's right. And as we all know, you can't cut that.
So he's going on about like, basically describing her.
Yeah.
And then obviously everyone pieces it together. And this whole scene was so weird to me because all of her coworkers then just start like singing the Imagine Dragons song.
Artemis
and, like,
starts it. Artemis is like, oh, I don't even know that song, so I can't sing it.
I don't either. But and then like they're just laughing at her. I'm like,
it's like a schoolyard.
Yeah, that's my thought. I was like, this is like a schoolyard of like they're just picking on this poor girl, and it's like
sixth graders. Yeah.
Also, like, how is this the big like? This is like the big issue,
the climax of the movie. Yeah,
like this is the big issue, and it's like no one has anything here that has any. It's not. They're not good stakes. Like there's not. You know what I mean? There's like
nope.
So what? He didn't say anything super. You wear a flower in your hair. Like he's just saying things that.
I mean, he did say she thinks she doesn't deserve love, but
I mean, everyone thinks that though. So
of course,
yeah, right. So I don't know. This is it's not good. So I was like, this is the bottom of the barrel moment, really. So then she literally gets laughed out of the office, and they're all like, and the boss is sitting right there. I'm like, how old are you? Like, what?
And the boss is like, should I say something?
Like, what the? Well, then that's right. Nick, he actually turns around and is like, "Are you screwing Jack Harper?" and says it in front of everyone. It's like, who? No one does.
Awesome. It's like reminds me of like a place that we used to work that shall not be named. I'm like, this is the least professional environment of all time, and so I do know places like this from that one time. But
we never laugh someone out of a room, though.
We definitely laughed.
We don't. Yeah. Okay, all right.
Poor Elliot. Yeah, shout out to Elliot and shout out to Laurel because we know she listens.
Yes,
and the only person who might remember those days. I was saying that at the meetup when we met up with all those people recently, and I was like, "Oh, you remember that time we like stole all of Elliot's stuff and like hid it in the rafters? Like we're just bullies." I just forgot we were bullies.
So this isn't that far off then.
No, exactly. That's what I mean. It seems like junior marketing people working at a startup or whatever.
I used to disconnect Rob's mouse from his I'd open it up and I'd put a little note inside there. So when he
classic hijinks.
I said, "Hey man, quit mousing around."
Hilarious.
It's good, clean.
I remember
fun.
mousing around. Yeah. I remember the time I put the cups all over your desk and stapled them all together, and then put like a 1/4 inch of water and a penny in each of them.
When I
went
on
your change collection. Yeah.
When I went on vacation.
That's right. I spent like 2 hours doing that. And then you had to spend like 3 hours cleaning it up.
Yes. Our boss is like,
What a good use of time. No, our boss was like, good one.
Good one. You got him, fucker.
That'll teach him to not go on vacation.
And I never did. Mm-hmm. All right. So where were we? So this is the bottom of the barrel moment, right? So
yeah. She gets home and she's crying. Yeah.
Yes.
Lissy's like, "Oh, baby, what happened?" And she's like, "I've never been so humiliated in my life." It's from the trailer where we assume that she got fired. It's not. She got fired at all.
No, she didn't get fired at all.
She just got mildly embarrassed at work.
Yeah. She listens to Imagine Dragons. Like, okay, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
For some
I think
reason,
the embarrassing part was crying and running out. Like if she had just been like, haha, yeah, I am fucking Jack Harper. Yeah. Wouldn't you like some of that dick? Like,
grow up.
Yeah, grow up, all of you. Then people would have been like, oh, damn it, she's cool.
Even with that flower in her hair. Okay.
Yep. Instead, she's like, I've never been so embarrassed in my life.
But I was like, is this so bad? What's going on? Like, is this really that bad? I don't know.
I mean, like, we know plenty of people who fuck their boss, and I guess it worked out for them. TBD.
All right. Rails, we are off it. All right, so she's crying, and there's more awkward stuff, right? And then they're basically going on about his secrets, and she's like, "Oh, he doesn't have any." Like, I don't want to get. All of a sudden, there's like this new mission of like they want to get back at him for sharing all of her secrets. I was like,
for some reason.
Like what?
Yeah.
What?
It's like, what are you going to gain from this?
Yeah. Like, I don't understand this. And she's like, yeah, I know he's got a web toe, and then he flies from Chicago. And they're like, that's
and I appreciate Gemma, because she's like, that's a deformity. We can't make fun of that.
Her interaction with this was pretty funny, I thought.
Yeah, she's like, he's got skin dactyly. And you're like, I don't. That's.
So they're like, yeah, what do you have on him? And she's like, yeah, the web toes thing, and then that he was in Chicago.
Something about Chicago. He was there. Doesn't want anyone to know. Something about Plan B. And they're like, what? That's just vague enough to not work.
Yeah.
Great call.
Good stuff. So then we cut to another New York City transition shot, right? Night transition. And there's like a quick shot of her in bed with Toots McGillicuddy.
Right, which we thought was a cat in the trailer. So apologies, Toots. I thought you were a cat in the trailer.
I did too. You looked like a cat. So sorry. Your dog. Great acting though. Great acting.
Really good acting from Toots. Standout talent from this movie.
Yeah. Guess what? Only movie he's ever been in. I guess he just had to cash out. He's like, this is it.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then why couldn't they hire Levon?
Toots McGillicuddy has an IMDb page, and it just has this movie
just
listed.
For this? Incredible.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, I know we talk a lot of shit about IMDb people, but good work.
Nailed
everyone.
It.
Good work.
All of you. So good. Yeah. So good.
For Toots.
So then we're in a coffee shop, right?
That's right.
And she's talking with Casey, the coworker there. He's being awkward, talking about time travel and being like, oh, if I was that embarrassed, I would time travel back and kill my whole lineage, wipe right. Blah, blah, blah.
It was kind of funny.
It was kind of funny.
He's like, I figured out how to make a time machine and like, like not just go like wither away to my death, but I'd go like wipe out everyone in my ancestors. And she's like, ditto.
I think you only have to wipe out one.
Sick.
To kind of end the line at a certain point.
Yep. But then Jack shows up.
More awkward
like stuff. Children. She's like, he's not here. He's not even, I'm pretending he's not here.
Yeah.
In case he's like, he's right here.
Yeah.
What?
So then, they talk. There's more awkward stuff. She literally turns her back to him, right? And he goes on about how he fucked up. Line from the trailer, which actually was as awkward as it was. When she's like, oh, you think your secrets are more important than mine? He's like, no, that's not true.
Yeah. No, definitely. I don't.
And then that's it.
Basically, he's like, I fucked up. I'm so sorry.
Fucked up, babe. I'm so sorry, babe.
Take a bullet for you, babe. It's just hard for me to trust people, And she's like, but I can't be the only vulnerable one in this relationship. And then back at home.
Yeah, we're back at home, right? And she's like, yeah. I think she actually got it entirely wrong. She explains to her friends.
Yes, definitely. She's like, Jack came to talk to me and he's like being an asshole. And they're like, he came to apologize.
And she's like, he thinks his secrets are more important. I was like, that's not actually what he's not.
He said the opposite of that.
Oh my goodness. So they plant the seed of getting revenge here, right? And she's like, I want closure. Yeah. And they're like, it's the same thing.
Well, that's just a fancy word for revenge. And then Lizzie's like, no, it's different. And it's like, okay, well, end scene. And basically, like the scheme that Gemma proposes is, I know a tabloid reporter.
Yes, that's important.
Dig up some dirt.
Again, this is just like a too thin of a problem.
Yeah, well, it's like a Lifetime movie. Like it could have been, and this is where it's like, I don't want this.
Yeah,
it could have been a longer movie because they could have done.
Yeah,
like the premise isn't horrible as a premise. Right. Like, and maybe that's why the book's better. Like if some of these parts are fleshed out a little bit more, like she's writing 400-page books about this. This is not a 400-page script.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. This is a 30-page script.
Yeah.
You're like, at best, at most, like I basically wrote half the script here and I think I took 14 pages of notes. So
it's just that times two.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm ameliorating too early.
Too soon. Too soon. Yeah. All right. So then we're back at the office.
Yep.
Right. We're back at the office, and this is also very strange. But I don't know. Maybe this.
Yeah. The boss Sybil's like, Nick, why don't you explain? Like, can you explain this ad in Bowling Monthly? Like, she's like all angry, and he's like, and she's like, I've got the numbers and it's off the charts.
You're like, bang, zoomy.
Good acting.
Like, why would you do that?
Yeah. So the boss is like, good job. And he's like, well, it was a gamble, but I wanted to experiment. And Emma's like, no, that was my idea.
My idea. I did not execute on it. I didn't do anything else, but that was my idea.
Contribute anything except let's do an ad buy in Bowling Monthly. Nick's like, well, we might have discussed it, but it's really teamwork, which is the correct answer, actually.
Yeah.
Like, we did talk about it, but also then I like wrote the copy, presumably, and got the creative together and like submitted and like did the ad buy and the rest of the work. But the boss is like, I see what's going on here. Not bad, Emma. Good work. Nick, don't ever take anyone's ideas again. Okay. And he's like, oh, shucks. And then Emma's like,
furthermore,
I get a promotion for making my own opportunities. You told me to make my own opportunities. And the boss is like, well, you got me there. Fair enough.
You got it. Promotion, kid.
And then she goes, all righty, meeting done. Which is one of my favorite lines in the movie. All righty, meeting done.
Next time you're in a meeting, that's how I want you to end it.
All righty, meeting done. And then meanwhile in the background, you can hear Artemis going like, oh, like, well, I guess I get whatever you want when you sleep with the boss.
Yeah, what is that line?
Yeah, I don't know. All righty.
It's like totally. Well, I mean, I get it because it's like they threw it in there to like set up the lesson learned later on when the boss gives her, but it's just like, oh my god, it was such a weird sequence. Anyways,
which is right now. This is the lesson learned, isn't it? Like boss, like this is an aside with the boss, and she's like, well, was it your choice? Did you also want to bang that hot guy?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. She's like, as a woman, you're gonna have to work twice as hard to be taken seriously, and everyone's gonna assume that everything you get's because you slept with that guy.
Yeah,
but you earned it. And you're like, wait, all she's done is fuck up the whole time, except for that one idea that she did not have anything to do with, other than the idea.
Yeah, like, and you know who paid for all those champagnes on her flight back from that trip? Yeah, that's getting
exactly.
Yeah,
but you earned it. And then they hug, and Emma cries, and you're like,
okay,
what?
And then we're back in an elevator, right? And then is Emma? This whole thing was like now kind of like slapsticky, kind of weird.
She's talking to Casey, and she's like, I got the promotion, and he's like, oh, awesome! Like, I'm so happy for you, like my actual friend. And then Connor walks in, and Connor's like, can I ask you a sex question? And she's like, what? Were you always honest with me in that department? And she's like, well, no, I lied.
And Casey's getting like
your tongue. Yeah.
Casey's just like getting visibly just like uncomfortable. He's like, because he's right in between the two of them. And
right.
He's just kind of like, oh my god, this is a goddamn nightmare.
Because that's a reasonable reaction to this unreasonable situation that's happening.
Yes.
Basically, then they like demonstrate oral sex to each other, and she's like, do this, not that. And Casey's like, what?
Horrified and just like,
and then again, Connor not getting enough credit. When they walk out of the elevator, he's like, you know what? You deserve happiness, and I hope Jack is as generous a lover as I was.
Great.
That's a very nice thing to say to someone that broke your heart 2 days ago.
Absolutely.
Very mature, nice. Very adult.
Yeah, Connor.
Everything a woman would want. And loves jazz.
But it was a kind of really like slapsticky, which is just kind of weird.
Yes.
But
yep. Because at the end, they didn't lean in hard enough to the I wanted more slapstick if you're going to do that.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, you can't just tease. You got to get into it. So.
Like Aykroyd me if you're going to go
all in. Go all in.
Right.
So then we later on we're at the dance theater, right? The theater.
Yeah, which speaking of scenes that don't make any sense.
Yeah. Right, because she's there and she's like kind of like off to the side of the stage, and Lissy's there and she's like in her Snuggie and like,
yeah, you're like, oh, I forgot that other plot line that I was more interested in actually than the rest of the plot.
Yeah. And she basically just gives her kind of like a little pep talk, and then it cuts to Jack just shows up, right? And like they're in like the standing in the theater there, whatever, and he's just like
Jack the
Ripper. He's like, she was right, He opens up about Chicago, why he's going to Chicago.
Yeah,
and it's just his goddaughter. So Pete, the guy who
it's
passed away, it's his daughter.
The simplest explanation of all time.
Yeah, like this isn't.
Her name's Alice. She's 4 years old.
Yeah, you could have just said that. And but he wants to keep it a secret because of like tabloids trying to get.
Yeah. Again, like, how old is this guy and how important is he? Like, I have no context for anything here.
So then she's like, well, he's like, I just want her to have a normal life, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, well, do you want to watch the lawyers dance together? And they watch the show.
Yep. And then we get a nice, not enough, in my opinion, lawyer dance.
Yep.
Very romantic.
Yep.
And they hold hands. She's remarkable.
And then
Lissy is remarkable.
So then, like, we're
cut to backstage, right?
Yeah, backstage, right? And Emma's giving Lissy a pep talk there, like, "Hey, believe in yourself." That seems to be the moral of the story here, right? Believe in yourself. Yep. And then she's like, "Oh, let's get a photo." And then he's like, She's like, "I left my bag in the theater," so he goes away, right?
Yep.
What a cheap setup for getting that. Then I hated this scene so much because then the other friend shows up, right?
Yeah. It all happens too fast, and it's very frustrating.
It's so annoying. It's absolutely
and unrealistic. Yeah.
All right. So we get the big scene here, right? So we got Emma, we got Gemma, we got Flemma,
Gemma,
Flemma, and then we get the other friend, right? Lissy's there, and then we get this news reporter guy from the tabloid who looks sleazy, right? And he's got the old tape recorder thing. He's like playing, like, hey, immediately grilling her. And she's like, whoa, no, this is a big misunderstanding. You gotta get out of here. And it's like just chaos. And I hated it. And it was annoying. And it was weird.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And basically, like, then Jack comes back right at the moment when he's like, isn't it true that you were on a flight together from Chicago?
Yeah.
and he's like,
everyone's just staring
You're telling
at
him
Jack.
about Chicago?
What? Chicago's between us.
What? Yeah. And then he walks out and she follows him. And he's like, so that's why you pressed me on Chicago, huh? It's the one thing I asked you to keep private.
Yeah.
Emma, you sold my secret. And she's like, I didn't, though. And he's like, go finish your interview. And you're like, wait, let her finish her sentence for a second. Like,
yeah.
like, you're not totally wrong.
Stop being so unreasonable.
Oh my God. So frustrating.
I was like, is this really a big deal? Is this Chicago thing a big deal? Yeah, I don't.
Baffling.
I don't. Yeah, it's too thin for me. It's too thin.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so we get a sad montage.
Yeah, we just get like a little skyline transition again. New York,
sunset, New York.
Yeah, and she just like walks to the water by herself and like stares off in the distance. You know, like,
sad music playing.
Quick pan up to the sky. Yeah, good. Like
nailed it. Perfect. Yeah, she's
good
just
art,
going. Yeah, lonely walk. Blah blah blah. And then she like
which is probably a whole chapter in the book.
Yeah, probably
20 pages.
Absolutely. And then she looks up and there's like a plane going overhead, right? And it transitions to Jack on a plane being sad Jack, right?
That's right.
The flight attendant pours champagne and then asks him if he wants it, and he says no. Kind of a dick move.
Yep.
On both parts. One, don't open it.
Yeah.
Ask the person first.
That's right.
And then two, if someone pours a glass for you and offers it, take it.
You take it. Yeah.
You take it.
When in doubt.
And then Emma just shows up on the plane.
That's right.
We didn't get the airport run, but this is kind of it.
This is more or less it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it. I would say this is it. Like, she had to buy a ticket for this flight. She's doing the airport run. Yeah. So then Emma says, hi, Sybil told me you were leaving, but I needed to tell you something. I didn't tell that guy anything. I would never, ever do that.
But she did.
Would have saved her hundreds of dollars if she did. No, she didn't tell him anything.
Well, she told him about Chicago, though.
Yeah, just Chicago.
Through the friend.
Yeah, but nothing about the kid. Like, nothing interesting about Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
He was in Chicago. That's not news. Like, who gives a shit? Like, she didn't tell him anything of note.
No.
And basically, she like there's a whole monologue about like my whole life. I always based my value in myself off of what other people thought of me, and I completely lost sight of who I was. But then I met you and told you everything about me, and you didn't leave, and blah blah blah. Like, you didn't know anything about me, but like, and I didn't know anything about you, but I knew your heart. You knew everything about me. I didn't know anything about you. But
yeah,
like, you're a good person.
But we knew.
Yeah, and he's like, what? Like, he's just like sitting there the whole time, like, what? And she's like, you made me believe I could be loved just by being myself, and actually, the only way I could be loved is by being myself, and that's amazing.
Excuse me, you're my seat.
That one of the best lines in the movie.
Like, give that woman an Oscar.
Gets up and leaves. Yeah. She's like, okay, well, sorry.
I love it. The big love speech. And he's like, excuse me, you're in my seat.
Yep. So she goes back to economy class,
which sucks.
Hilarious. Like, classic big guy sitting next to her, baby right in front of her. It's everything you want in an airplane.
Yep, man, that's what you get back there in coach.
But Jack comes back and says, hey,
babe.
I'm afraid of the dark. And she's like, what? And he's like, and I have a fake tooth. She's like, what?
I chipped it.
And I fucked Lisa Greenwood in a barn, and I asked if I could keep her bra as a souvenir. And
the big guy's like, dude, nice.
Fist bump. And she's like, what? And then the guy's like, can I switch seats with you in first class? And he's like, hell yes. And then he continues on. He's like, I wish I was 2 inches taller. And she's like,
I wish I was a baller.
Yeah. He's like, at board meetings, I usually just sit there and think, who the hell are these people? Then I met a girl on a plane and my entire life changed. I'm absolutely, completely in love with you. I mean, with her now. Also you. I hate this. I hate all of this.
Oh my god.
I was like, this can't be the end. This can't be the end.
Yeah, and then like their voices got like really quiet. I don't know if you noticed that. It was like really weird.
They started playing music too loud.
Yeah, the music was like too loud and like the voices were like really quiet. But
I've got a lot more to tell you too, including I'm really afraid of flying. And then she kisses him, and then they just keep talking.
The end.
Yeah, they just chat. Then the music plays and roll out. Memory of Joaquin Durant.
March 38 to April 19.
Dead as hell, old as fuck.
Yep.
He had a good run.
He had a good run. Yeah, that is old as fuck. Holy shit. Jesus.
He was like 80, right? 70 or 80. Like he's old enough.
Oh, 40, fun. Yeah, 60, 19. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, it's old enough, right? Yeah, you did your duty.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So that's it. That's the end of it.
Alrighty. Meeting done.
All right, you want it?
Should we ameliorate?
I think we should.
Well, I already started to say it earlier, but I think make this movie longer.
No.
I think that's one of the ways you fix it. Like, give us more detail about there are interesting threads. Like, give us more of the side characters, because they're the ones that are funny. They're the ones that are like really well casted. Like, I don't know. Like, I want more Casey story. I want more of like their friendship. Like, how I'm interested. Like, they don't talk about any of that. Of like, I don't know. Like, we just get the assumption, and same with like her friendship with Gemma and Lissy. I'm like, give me some more on that. Like, they're kind of very shallow friends at this point.
Yeah.
Make it give me an extra half an hour. I don't want it, but make it 2 hours. It'll feel less lifetimey then too. Like that, it just moved too quickly, I thought, in a lot of places.
Also, just having, I don't know, nothing felt like it was really that big of a deal.
Yeah, there are no stakes. Yeah.
There was nothing like, I mean, you could still write a rom-com-y thing here, but make it feel a little more believable. Also, just like the office dynamics and all that sort of stuff was just strange, and like,
yeah, like tell me you've never worked in an office without telling me you never worked in an office.
Yeah. But yeah, making the stakes a little bit heavier too. Like why is it such a big deal that the kid is, it felt flimsy.
Well, give me more about the kid then. Like, that's when, like, make it into a big deal. Like, oh, like actually she's had Pete, the founder that we know nothing about, like blood his story a little bit. Like, oh, actually this is like the third company that he's founded, and he's like this crazy billionaire guy who no wonder his daughter would have been in the limelight had she, like, had they known about the daughter kind of thing. Or like, it's actually with this illicit affair that he had. Like, I don't like do something. I don't like tell a story. Yeah. Make it, give it some stakes. Give us a reason to care about anyone.
Yeah, I think that's why this movie's not for us. It's just
tell me about Gemma. Like, show me the bris. Show me the bris.
Show me the grandmother. Show me the grandmother. Show me.
Yeah. Speaking of representation, not enough bris scenes in movies. Bris and meatballs. That's what I'm saying.
And also make a decision of, is it going to be slapsticky, or is it going to be
that too?
Tonally make a decision on what it's supposed to be.
Put Adam Sandler in it then. I don't know.
I hate when
Netflix.
Like, voiceover start, and then there's they serve no purpose other than just to give us information.
Yeah.
Fix that. All right. I don't know. Anything else
Alrighty, meeting done.
Love it. Thanks
for
listening.
In every situation.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with a new movie. But in the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram at It's This Meets That. We're ITMT Pod on Twitter. We're on YouTube. You can go there and listen to us. And we're blowing up the tubes.
That's right. All the tubes.
Just blowing them all up. And then wherever you're listening right now, Apple or Spotify or wherever, just follow or
Overcast.
subscribe. Yeah, Overcast, Stitcher.
Yeah, do that. Leave us a review too, please. That would be nice. We appreciate it. 5 stars would be nice. Maybe a friendly comment. Maybe a problematic comment. I don't know.
An unfriendly comment that we can that we could comment on.
Say something weird to us. We like weird stuff.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. Or if you're feeling old fashioned and want to write us like something real weird, send us an email. Write us a little novel or something. Maybe a short that we could steal and publish. I mean,
we've said it before. Just
read and promote.
Yeah, read and promote. Yeah. Just pump something into ChatGPT and send that to us.
That's you. Yeah. Let them write the email for you. Be like, oh, I want to write an email to my favorite podcast. It's This Meets That. It's a podcast about bad movies where they do It's This Meets That thing. And like, I want to talk about meat and like butcher shop work, something like that.
And
I don't know.
Cows are killing the planet. Yeah.
Yeah. The computer will write something up.
Yeah.
Maybe make it about an abduction or something of the cows, like an alien abduction.
I think we just wrote a sci-fi movie.
That's right. And speaking of sci-fi movies that we're about to write, you can go to the website, find all of our other stuff that we have written.
Yeah.
Like the descriptions of the episodes, most of the content there. But our website is thismeetsthat.com. Lots of cool stuff. There will be future cool stuff. We promise.
Yeah.
That board game, it's coming.
It's coming.
I'm working on it.
Yeah?
yeah. In my spare time, I'm working on it.
Good. I love it.
Yep. Check it out.